Hello all. Hello Kerfus. So, for any of you who have caught my streams before, unfortunately Glimdag will not be here. But, the Glimdag's mainly just interested in video games, but they'll sort of be here in spirit. So let's head over to the video void. I mean, it's not really a void. There's like fairies, RGB fairies and stuff that live here, but that's the best thing to call it, really. So this first tape is from some university in South Florida, apparently. And I just want to read the card that it came with before playing it. So it says, turn on the award-winning NSU Law video, face-to-face with the law, and you're guaranteed to feel the energy, excitement, and enthusiasm that are the heart of the NSU Law experience. Well, let me check something real quick. When the video is over and you've caught your breath, complete and send us the NSU Law application. Misplace your application? No problem. Let us know and we'll mail you a new one immediately. You'll be one step closer to coming face to face with NSU Law. Visit us on the World Wide Web. So, you know, I'm pretty hyped. I wonder if this was sent out to people, but the cover art is really interesting. Like it seems like they must have paid someone some pretty good money to put this together. Anyway, enough preamble. Let's put this tape in. Sometimes they take a minute to get going. Oh.
There is no other place to learn the law and to become a lawyer quite like this school on this planet at this time. There's just
on
no
this
other place
planet.
like it. I don't know what else we can say about it.
Okay. Pretty good music. Look at these people. Oh, yeah. Oh, shit! Let me know if I am too loud or too quiet.
Now, how far was the gun from the body? And what about this weapon? What kind of processing should we use on it?
Fingerprint powder? No. Well, let's take it back to the lab and super glue fume it.
Great idea. Perfect. Now, notice how critical the evidence collection is to the chain of custody. What experts would you
Well, I
hire?
would consult with a firearms expert because I would like to be able to link the bullet.
This is exciting. Law is exciting. It's not just in
That
books.
blue
It's
flashing
what
might happen
happens every day.
sometimes.
In the
I'm a
boardrooms, the streets,
low-budget
the
operation
courts,
with
the
a
hospitals,
low-budget
the law
converter.
offices. And this is a spirited, dynamic law school dedicated to bringing you face-to-face with the experiences you'll actually encounter as lawyers. If you really want to be a lawyer, this is for you. We're preparing you for the real world of lawyering.
NSU law is like the school you
Lawyering.
dreamed of when you first knew you wanted to be a lawyer.
Well, let me put it this way. At NSU Law, the Ivy's out and the action's in.
Now pitches back to Parmalee, sweeping left this time. He's at the 5. He's in.
It couldn't have happened just anywhere. The Miami Dolphins training facility is located right here on NSU's campus. My part-time law clerking position turned into a full-time job with the Miami Dolphins legal team. For me, it was perfect.
And that's not even the best part.
It's not?
NSU Law is the top-notch legal education. The guaranteed clinical opportunities. The focus on lawyering skills and values. The faculty's open door policy and the faculty itself. And we're right on the cutting edge of the leading information technology. Those are the real advantages here. You go through this program, and 3 years from now, you'll be a lawyer.
Here I started to feel like a lawyer as soon as I got into the program.
The LSV program is unparalleled. We wasted zero time.
As soon as you put your foot through the door, they're looking for your best. Straight away, we're divided into simulated law firms. The
I don't think I
students,
can
us,
provide
are
my
members
best
of
when I
and
first
the
put my
professor,
foot
as a
into
senior partner,
the
takes you
door
into the program
anywhere.
with a real-world case file approach to the material.
Look, first year you interview a client, you follow with a formal opinion letter, negotiate with opposing counsel, argue your first motion, and try this. You learn to maintain a timesheet and a billing system for your own work. Then you interview
By
with...
the start of your second year, you have to choose your track, transactional or litigation.
Transactional. I'm really into putting together business deals.
It was always litigation for me. I love being in a courtroom.
Well, we kept our case out of court. We forced them to mediate after deposing witnesses and answering 10 pages of interrogatories.
Our firm put together a franchise operation, negotiated an acquisition contract, handled a real estate closing. I guess we're just plain business busy.
We teach you, require you to act like a lawyer.
Oh,
not
look at this
merely
guy's
feel like
hair.
one. Everything about LSD, Lawyering Skills and Values program, is laying the foundation for one of the best, one of the foremost third-year clinical programs in the country. This truly is the cutting edge of legal education.
Oh, absolutely.
Thank you, Bullet Man.
The law center. But what if we added to that promise the equally
That guy has like
of studying not only under a committed
a vaporwave poster in the background, but it's not vaporwave. It's just.
Get involved and get you involved.
Oh, hey, it's the guy on the cover.
Who's argued more cases before the United States Supreme Court than any other Florida attorney.
My students are right with me in these Supreme Court cases. When I argued the Seminole Indian casino gambling case, they researched and drilled me on every aspect of my argument. Sometimes, oftentimes, they come up with tougher questions than the Supreme Court justices. That's what makes it all so important, so exciting, watching my students come face to face with the real spirit of law.
You know, it was terrific. It's probably the best day of my career. We freed this poor, innocent schizophrenic who confessed to a double murder that he didn't commit and spent 9 years in prison for it. My students helped to get him out. They worked with me for hundreds of hours investigating this case and working on the habeas corpus. The experience was fantastic. It's exactly the kind of thing they'll have to do once they're in practice.
Like true mentors. Here my professors don't just teach the law, they're in the law.
So some mornings, you're not even thinking about it. You flip on the tube, and there's my professor on network TV being asked for his insight into the American political system. The next day, Professor Anderson is up there in front of you teaching your constitutional law class.
Well, it is high profile. It's demanding and very special.
I've never known a law school to offer a program of this caliber.
The rock-solid traditional curriculum, infused with the very best contemporary thinking in the country.
The camera work is getting me a little bit. Just the slow zooms. We're so close to this woman's face.
This place is probably unequaled anywhere. It's a microcosm of the future here, poised at a gateway to the rest of the world. You couldn't ask for a better place to teach or learn or to
Yeah, I
live
can
and
turn the
work.
TV up a little bit.
Magazine even names Fort Lauderdale one of the best places you can live today.
Is that good?
Booming. So if you yearn to be where the action is, in real estate law for instance, you'll love it here. Or maybe it's international law, maybe it's corporate law or environmental law. Virtually every kind of law imaginable is practiced here. We're surrounded by cosmopolitan opportunities, and every day, more and more big companies are moving in.
When I interned down here last summer, I knew I was trained and ready. Now I'm hired. From NSU Law,
a shot at almost anything and everything that's happening.
While I was at the law center, I tried 11 cases to a jury, and that proved to be a big help in getting a position after I graduated. I think that's one of the best things at NSU Law, the involvement.
Here, involvement is more than a promise. It's an ironclad guarantee. Every third-year student is guaranteed a full semester clinical placement.
It was recorded well and can see up someone's nostrils. I think I missed the nostrils. I'm sad.
Clinical programs expose you to a rich, diverse, multicultural professional experience, unequal maybe anywhere else in legal education.
This is well done. Third year starts off with intensive classes in the substance and skills you need in practice and wraps around a 12-week internship. You're out there working one-on-one with an experienced practitioner in your specialty area. This is the most intense, probably the most valuable learning experience of my entire life.
It's criminal justice for me. I'm headed for the state attorney's office.
I'll be working for lawyers in the Everglades or the Keys on environmental law issues, and it's great work.
International law? I'm planning on interning somewhere in South America, Rio or Caracas. I've always wanted to practice family law, so I'm going to stay right here and work with a family law clinic.
I'm doing the public service clinic. Either I'll intern with legal aid or with the IRS in D.C.
I'm thinking New York. A big firm, snow, sophisticated business deal.
Well, let's see. Claire and James went to D.C., Sandy to Seattle,
God, we got
Kirk
so
to
many
Phoenix,
TVs right
Mary's to
now.
New York, and Mike's Orlando. The rest of us are spread out from Miami to Palm Beach, and we all get together.
Wait, why does
here
this
once a
TV
week.
have...
If you're
Oh,
interning in
okay,
a
it's like a
practice
conference
setting
room
far from the law
thing.
center, you're
I was
taught
wondering
us
why
and
it
your
had
classmates here in Fort Lauderdale
a
through
camera
NSU's
on top of
pioneering
it.
distance learning technologies. This is a wonderful learning experience. For instance, we get to see how lawyers
is
from
high
all
tech.
over the country tackle the same exact problem.
They definitely saved the best for last. In third-year clinical semesters.
Wait, this is also the guy on the, one of the guys on the cover.
This really works.
It's true. And out there where it counts, this faculty and these innovative clinical offerings combined with our rigorous traditional curriculum are a winning combination. Employers recognize it. From NSU Law, you'll have what it takes to hit the ground running.
As a managing partner, the pressure is on me for performance. I hire where the talent is. That's NSU Law.
Oh yes, we've hired students straight from law schools, several of them. One of the notable things I've learned about the NSU Law graduates, one of the truly valuable things, is that they really know how to tackle problems.
Well, the proof is, time after time, our students end up getting hired during their
Tackle
clinic
problems.
externships.
Like those football boys earlier.
NSU Law, and I can recognize it when I see it. I come back here frequently to recruit new talent.
Let's put it this way. If it's an NSU Law graduate, then we want to talk to them.
A lot of things.
Okay.
A combination of things that you can only get here contribute to the success of the NSU Law graduate. One of them, something we haven't mentioned, is that we really do care if they graduate. If they pass the bar, that they make it.
I'm doing extra felony trials.
I love the library.
True. I'm usually in class studying or at my internship, but when I get a break,
the beach!
If I don't catch my professor in his classroom or office,
Oh,
I
look
can
at that.
email him right from his website.
That
It's a
website.
genuine one-on-one, open door policy by the professors. Here, we believe that most law students are drawn to the profession because they want to help people, represent them in court, transact their business. They don't just want a degree on a piece of paper, they want to be lawyers.
I think I agree, Alden. Like, nostrils are an important part of trustworthiness, especially when it comes to
Our
law.
graduates can walk in and handle a case from day one.
This is the place to be. This is the future.
Like, who knows what somebody might be hiding up there. I gotta make sure I can see that someone's nostrils are clear. Okay. Dancing. God. Blue flashing is happening a lot. I don't know if I can have this up on Well, it's gone now. It's a quest for the best, and we love it. Well, I'm pretty hyped after that. I'm gonna sign up for the NSU Law program right now. It's rewinding currently, so hi. Whoops. You're making a law firm, please hire me. I don't think I can actually be a lawyer, but I'm sure I have some kind of useful role. Like, I can, I guess I can, like, headbutt people out when they're, when they get, like, denied service, because you just can't take on their case. Okay, next one is scarf sensations. Add flair with a scarf and cause a sensation. 30 ways to tie with style. This one also was in the plastic when I got it, but it has 2 cigarette burns, like, on the label. Thank you, Kerfus. I won't disappoint. Yeah, I see that Alex is in the chat, by the way. I'm pretty sure everyone here has done this already, but if you haven't, I want you to go to Fireworks for Dinner's channel and watch their series Ancient Idaho. It's very good. Waiting time. That sign doesn't apply to me because I'm choosing not to read. Your own best friend.
Patricia's Scarf Sensations. 30 ways to tie beautiful scarves with Patricia Ryle.
Heck yeah.
The jabot, the half bow, the accordion, the fan. Hi, my name is Patricia Ryle. If you've ever thought you were the only woman in the world who couldn't tie a scarf right, let me ease your mind. I own a dress shop, Patricia's, in Northern California.
She definitely
And
needs to
every
be
day
turned
I
up a
hear
bit.
women saying they love scarves, but they don't know how to tie them.
She's kind of
Or they
bass
think their neck
boosted.
is too short or their bust is too large. The truth is, nobody has ever taken the time to show them how easy it is to wear a beautiful scarf. If I can do it, you can do it. 2 things before I start showing you lots of sensational scarf ties. Always press a new scarf before wearing it. And remove the label. The creases can absolutely destroy a beautiful scarf tie. And that label, you do a terrific tie, and that label is sticking right out in front. There are 3 basic shapes of scarf. I'm going to begin with the easiest way to tie each one of them. This is the bias shape.
I should have grabbed my one scarf
It has a little stretch to it.
before starting this,
First, I
so
will
I
do
can
the
practice
hangman.
along.
Easiest because there's no tie at all. Fold the scarf in half.
I have
Put it
one
around
scarf
your
and it's
neck.
black.
Bring the ends through the fold. Pull up gently. Fan out the ends, and you have the hangman. There's another tie.
What
with a
now?
Bias. The loop. Put around your neck. Make a loop toward one end of the scarf. Doesn't have to be a neat loop. Any ordinary kind of loop will do. A loop. Slip the other end through your loop. And even out the ends. Easy as can be. This is the oblong shape, shaped like a rectangle.
Uh-oh.
You can do some of the same scarf ties with the different scarf shapes.
I don't know
I'll
if
do the
my
hangman again
converter
with the
likes this
oblong,
one.
And you'll see how the same tie looks differently with a different shape. Fold in half, put around your neck, pull it through, maybe put one tail towards the back.
Can't tie a scarf
Easy, no,
on
not
audio
hard.
instructions alone.
One morning, I wanted to do something different with my scarf. I decided
We're gonna try
do a
fast
loop.
forwarding. Again, unfortunately, I have a very low budget converter, and sometimes it just doesn't like tapes.
Do not have to be neat. Put it around your neck and just tie it. Too easy? Who cares? It's a tie you'll love to impress your friends with. The accordion. The
I don't know,
fan.
my friends are always
This will be
making
your
fun of me for
masterpiece.
doing things that are too
Every time I
easy.
wear the fan, women stop
I
me
think
and
I'd
want
be
to know
easy
how I
prey
do
if
it.
I
have
did a
to
knot
admit,
like that.
This is one of the most challenging scarf ties I know. But it seems even when you make a mistake doing it, it turns out great. In fact, it will probably look different every time you do it, and that's what makes it so much fun. Now let me show you.
Oh no, Patricia, no.
With an oblong, remember your loop? Make a loose loop.
Patricia's been banished to
one
the
end.
blue realm again.
Loose loop. On a flat surface, start pleating the opposite end of your loop. There's your loop. This is the opposite end. The pleats do not have to be neat. But Just some semblance of pleating is all you need. You're going to pleat, pleat, pleat until you reach about the size of your neck.
Thank you, Curtis. I guess I'll have
From
to try
the
it then.
last pleat to the loop. Now, let go of one end of your pleat, pinching the other edge tightly. Put around your neck. After you've had some practice with this, you can actually do it on your neck. But in the beginning, start on a flat surface and then put the tie on. Pull the pinched edge through the loop, giving the loop a yank to tighten.
I do very much appreciate
Voila.
this, like,
The magnificent
music in the
fan.
background.
This is a tie you can do high at the neck or low at the neck. It's great for the gal who thinks that her neck is too short to wear scarves. The fan. I like to talk for a minute about the quality of a scarf. My favorite is silk. Silk might be slightly more expensive, but you'll get a better drape and a more secure tie with silk. A budget tip: shop for scarves at sale time, usually January and July. You'll probably find some real bargains. A person can't have too many scarves.
I had no idea there was a
Now, I
season
mention
for
in my book,
the sales
Fabulous
of
Look,
scarves
The magic
specifically,
of coordinating,
let alone
that
two.
tying a square knot is the most important thing you should learn about the art of scarf tying. Leave one side about 4 inches longer. Now, pretend that the shorter end is a stick and it's not going to move. Then memorize this: right over left and through, and then right to the side and through. Now I'm going to do it right over the left and through. Remember, this is a stick.
Loop-de-loop and pull.
And right to the side and through. Right to the side and through. Pulling gently at each end until you have a perfect square knot. Now I'm going to do that again. Follow me closely. This tie is easy to wear for a sporty look with jeans and a sweater. A little bit longer in, right over left and through, right to the side.
I think the problem is that there's just too much audio data coming through. Like, I can barely hear her over how loud that scarf is,
So you
so
have the perfect square knot.
I imagine
use
my
the
poor
same
little
style
converter is
of
having
knot
an even
tying
harder
when you
time.
tie your triangle. The collar. To learn the square knot for this unique tie. And I'm going to do the cowboy bias.
What? There's a cowboy
Right
knot?
around the neck
And I can't see it?
and another square knot. Put the knot up to the side, bring it around to the front, do your knot lower. Lots of variations you can do with this one too. The knot necklace. Now that you have the square folded into a bias, how do you like our scarf lingo that we're able to use now? Let's talk about turning a scarf into a necklace. The bias square.
Try one more time to fast forward to a point where it isn't blue. And if that doesn't work, then I'm going to put on a backup tape. Oh. Well, okay then, I guess we're at the credits. Let's rewind just a little bit.
And then just tie each of the corners together.
Does that even count as a scarf at that point? I mean, I guess it
Put my
does, but you're
jacket
wearing
on.
it like a vest.
Over the halter, and I've got a terrific evening look. I've saved a special tie.
I've never
for
seen a
women.
scarf being
This is
used
a
like
tie
that before.
that is done with a large square. And you're going to be tying the ends together, folding it in half, tying the first end, and the other two ends. When I get the ends tied together, I will show you what it looks like, in case you haven't been able to follow. The large square folded in half with the two ends tied together on each side. Now, what are we going to do with this? We're going to put this on like a jacket. This is the showiest way to wear a spectacular scarf.
All right.
The cocoon is also a way to cover bare.
Well, Scarf Sensation is a little bit of a bust, but I have a backup tape that should work. In case it wasn't clear, I have not seen any of either of the previous two tapes. I've seen this tape I'm about to put in, and I know it's good. Hold on. I don't have the image for it, sadly. Though the image for it the cover of it has an address on it that's local to me, so I wouldn't want to put that up anyway. But I looked at that address, and it's now like the creepiest dilapidated building.
Hi there. I'm Skip Hagel, Director of Dealer Sales and Technical Services for Johnson Outboards in North America. For over 65 years, we at Johnson and our dealers have worked to make boating safe and enjoyable. Johnson-powered boats today are more reliable and easier to operate than those of just a few years ago. Unfortunately, the fact remains that the #1 cause of boating accidents is still operator error. It is also a fact that the more knowledgeable you are about boating safety, the safer you and your passengers will be. That is why we at Johnson have produced this Boat Smart video hosted by boat racing legend Chip Hanauer.
In case you're concerned that a boat racer is teaching boating safety
Yeah, you know Chip here is cool because of the pasteurized time
U.S. Coast Guard to join us.
effect.
We present a lot of worthwhile boating safety tips. But please keep in mind, this is not a training video. In addition to watching, we urge you to sign up for one of the boating safety courses offered by the Coast Guard Auxiliary, the U.S. Power Squadron, or your local state agency. Do these things, and you, your family, and friends will experience years of safe and enjoyable boating.
Boat Smart, the essential guide to recreational boating safety. Brought to you by your local Johnson Outboard dealer, the Safeco Insurance Companies, and AirTouch Cellular, and hosted by racing legend Chip Hanauer.
Hell yeah, Chip.
I know what you're thinking. Safe boating video. Sure, they're gonna suck all the fun out of the sport and then deem it safe. Well, I'm here to tell you that's not the case, because frankly, boating is fun, but it's also challenging. By the way, I'm Chip Hanauer. I race powerboats for a living.
Yeah, I know who you are, Chip. Thank you.
I've learned that in my profession, safety doesn't just happen. It's something that's learned and practiced each and every day. In fact, it's racing that's taught me one of the most important rules in boating safety. Always be prepared for the worst. When I race, I wear a life jacket, a helmet, a fire suit. There's an escape hatch in the bottom of the boat, all just in case something should go wrong. When you're going for an outing on a pleasure boat, the same general rule applies. Be prepared for emergencies.
Preparing for emergencies means making sure you have the proper safety equipment on board your vessel. Falling overboard and capsizing are the leading causes of boating fatalities. That's why Coast Guard regulations require that you have one Coast Guard approved life jacket for every passenger on board. Remember, life jackets, they float, you don't. For boats 16 feet or longer, you'll also need a throwable device, something like a life ring on board. A Coast Guard approved flare or flare gun, and in many cases a fire extinguisher. And some sound producing device like a whistle or an air horn are also required to be on board. To ensure that your boat meets all federal safety requirements, you can request a free courtesy marine examination from the Coast Guard Auxiliary.
These items, although not required by law, are still really important to have on board. For example, a first aid kit, a VHF Marine Band radio to communicate with the Coast Guard and other vessels. A cellular phone is a good thing to have on board. Be sure you have a cigarette lighter adapter and a spare battery, a spare propeller and the tools to install it, and your Johnson dealer can best advise you as to which tools you should have on board. A flashlight with extra batteries, binoculars, a chart of the waters you're going to be navigating, a bailing bucket, a boat hook, and a paddle, just in case you run out of fuel.
Before each time you go out on a boat trip, you should always let a friend or family member know what your plans are. A float plan is basically an itinerary of what your schedule is for your boating trip. Even if you're just going for a 2-hour fish trip or a 1-week-long cruise, it's always a good idea to let friends and family members know what your plans are and give them a float plan. Don't file it with the Coast Guard. If every boater filed a float plan with the Coast Guard, it would just be mass confusion. You could even just write it down on a piece of paper. It doesn't have to be as fancy as this one. Have it filed with a friend or family member who's still on shore.
You know, this guy is like very deadpan delivery, kind of like when I talk, was making me think maybe he's not intense, but then they added the pasteurized time effect,
it's equally important to know how to maneuver it on land.
And I can't deny, he's very awesome.
The first thing you're going to want to do is be sure that the trailer lights are hooked up. And then, of course, the safety chains. And it's a good idea to cross them over so that the right side on the trailer is on the left side of the truck and vice versa. Backing a trailer down the ramp to launch your boat is one of the trickiest operations, simply because, well, everything's backwards. You turn the wheel on the car to the right and the trailer goes left. You turn the wheel on the car left and the trailer goes right. If you're new to towing a trailer, you might do well to practice in an empty parking lot somewhere, away from the lines that typically form at boat ramps where the pressure is really on.
or that graphic
Number
that was
B,
just
you want to
there.
check before you actually back the boat into the water.
Start by trimming the motor up so the propeller doesn't dig in, and put out all your fenders to protect the hull.
You want to make sure that the winch cable on the trailer is tight. You want to make sure you've got a bow line on, and also a stern line. You're going to need them when the boat goes afloat. And finally, don't forget the drain plug. You'd be surprised how many times even experienced boaters forget to put the drain plug back in. There's nothing more embarrassing than seeing the boat fill up with water as you're going down the ramp. So don't forget the drain plug. Make sure the trail lock is up, the tie downs are off, and I think we're ready to go. Drain plug. See what I mean?
To launch, you want to line the boat and the trailer up in as
Like
straight a
this.
line as possible, and then back it down the ramp until the back of the boat just begins to float. Set your parking brake.
Be sure and have one person on the winch and have at least one person on the bow and the stern line. Release the brake. Do so carefully, always keeping one hand on the handle. You don't want that to freewheel and hit you. Let the boat back until there's no more tension on the cable. Always reset that brake so that handle doesn't take off on you. Reach underneath, slowly push it off the trailer, and the person running the bow and the stern line will simply pull it over to the dock while you pull your car out, park it, and you're off to go boating.
Hold on. Before you go anywhere, make sure you get an up-to-date weather forecast. It happens all the time where it's a beautiful day in the morning and you go out and all of a sudden high winds come in. Another good reason to invest in a VHF marine radio. You can get frequent weather updates by tuning to channels 1, 2, or 3. Or at the very least, you should pack a portable AM radio and tune it to a channel that gives frequent weather updates.
No video can take the place of training and experience when it comes to learning how to maneuver a boat, but understanding some basic principles of boat handling will make it much easier for you.
To begin with, this steering wheel may look virtually identical to the one in your car, but driving a boat requires skills completely different than those required to drive your automobile.
Some of the basic differences: a boat turns from the back, a car from the front. As a result, they handle very differently.
A car has brakes, and obviously a boat doesn't. That's why you've got to use reverse when you want to bring the boat to a stop or to slow it down.
To include some text
Boat
animations
drifts, a
like
car
this
does
in
not.
my videos.
So you have to take into account wind and currents, especially at slow speeds.
Yeah, I especially appreciate
A boat
that
moving
turning
at slow
one.
speed turns very slowly. In fact, an outboard in neutral barely turns at all. The point of all this being that a boat steers much less precisely than a car. It requires that you really think ahead. Knowing how to operate your own boat is only part of it. You have to know how to interact with other boaters. You have to know the rules of the road, or in this case, the rules of the water.
On the water, as on the highway, there are certain rules of the road you need to adhere to. To begin with, you need to determine who has the right of way in certain situations. There's a pecking order amongst vessels. As you can see, the captain of a power-driven boat has to yield the right of way to all sailboats, commercial fishing boats, and of course, all non-powered boats like rowboats, canoes, and so forth. But what happens when two power boats meet? Then it starts getting a little complicated. Briefly, when two power boats meet head-on, they need to pass port to port, or left side to left side. When two power boats approach each other other than head-on, say a crossing situation, the vessel on the right side or starboard side has the right of way. The other vessel is the give-way vessel and has to keep clear by veering to the right and passing behind the other boat. Finally, in a passing situation, the boat approaching from the stern or back
text animations are so
should pass on the right and avoid the boat being overtaken. Again, there are many other details we haven't covered here. Another good reason to take one of the boating safety courses offered by the Coast Guard Auxiliary.
There aren't many gas stations on the open water, so fuel up before you head out.
First, you'll want to make sure you've turned off the motor. And if you have removable tanks and they're under 6 gallons, you'll want to be sure you take them off the boat before you refuel.
Close any compartments that might collect gas vapors, and be sure to have all your passengers get off the boat.
When fueling, always keep the nozzle in contact with the tank opening to avoid any static electric spark, which could ignite.
And when you're done gassing up, be sure and air out any closed compartments or run your blower for a few minutes before you start up.
This is also a really good time to check your oil supply. Great, thank you. Running out of gas in a boat can be a really frightening experience. Luckily, the Coast Guard's got a great rule of thumb that can keep that from happening.
It's called the rule of thirds. 1/3 of your fuel supply should be used to get you to where you're going, 1/3 to get you back, and the remaining third for reserve, just in case.
Although most boats handle much better when they're up to speed, driving a boat at speed has its own set of challenges. You have to be much more alert, always looking out in front, keeping an eye open for obstacles, down skiers, other boaters who may not be paying attention. Keep a lookout for scuba diving flags, swimmers, and be very aware of the effect your boat's wake is having on other boats. Also, on most waterways in most states, it's the law you operate at no wake speeds when you're within 100 yards of shore, a marina, or a bridge. When you're traveling at speed, it's critical that your passengers all be seated and that no one distract the driver or obstruct their view.
The stream is already kind of
every outboard
dubious
comes with
legally.
a trim adjustment. And what that does, it controls the angle which the propeller enters the water. If you trim it up too high, the bow comes up high and starts to porpoise. If you trim the engine down too low, the bow plows,
creating unnecessary drag. It takes experience with a boat to determine the optimal trim.
It also takes experience to know how to safely navigate the waterways, how to read colored buoys and signs that act as navigational aids. The most common are the red and green dayboards that mark the sides of a channel. An easy way to remember the meaning of each color is to use the 3R rule. Red, right, returning. That is, the red buoy should be on your right as you're returning from open sea, the green on your left. But never rely solely on buoys or markers to determine a safe position.
Water skiing is an exciting sport, but it has safety considerations all of its own. For example, you need to wear a life jacket that can withstand the impact of hitting the water at high speeds. So when you buy a life jacket for water skiing, always look for the high impact certification. You guys ready?
Make certain that in addition to the skier and the driver, there's an observer on board, someone to watch the skier in case there's trouble. If you're the driver, always look ahead and maintain a ski corridor of at least 100 feet on either side of the boat. When a skier falls, the observer raises the skier down flag. The driver returns to them as quickly as possible. It's important to remember to keep skiers and swimmers away from the back of the boat while the motor is running.
Overloading a boat is another cause of boating accidents. Each boat has a capacity plate on it that identifies the maximum number of persons, the maximum weight capacity, and the maximum horsepower it can safely handle. Don't exceed these limits.
Part of boating safety is being able to rely on the boat itself. You want to know that the engine's going to start when you need it, and the boat's going to perform the way you expect.
Johnson motors are strong, durable machines that are designed to provide years of trouble-free operation. Nonetheless, like all machines, they require routine maintenance, which your Johnson dealer can advise you on.
Because there's nothing worse than being trapped a mile offshore with a dead engine and a small fish.
Small fish on top of it.
There's a lot of people out there that just don't realize that boating while intoxicated is illegal. Alcohol adversely affects your balance, coordination, vision, and most importantly, your judgment.
I have something like 40 of these tapes right now, I think.
Namely, the motion of the boat and dehydration. It's easy to lose your balance on a rocking boat, and as we've said before, falls overboard are a leading cause of boating fatalities. Also, the sun causes you to perspire, removing water from your body but leaving the alcohol. This can cause impairment to happen more rapidly. So 2 beers at home might be different than 2 beers out in the water. You might react different. It is both illegal and extremely dangerous to operate a boat while intoxicated.
Boats don't have headlights, but what lights they do have aren't there to help you see,
but I haven't seen the majority of them.
Be seen.
Although boat lighting varies depending on the size and the type of vessel, in the case of recreational powerboats less than 39 feet in length, there are 2 lights at the bow, red on the port or left side, green on the starboard or right side, and then 1 all-round white light near the stern.
This may seem obvious, but if you do have to be out in your boat after dark, drop your speed and use extreme caution.
Hey, Kobe.
Hi, I'm Pete Myers, a boat insurance underwriter with Safeco Insurance Company.
Hi,
Please
Pete
remember
Myers.
that being properly insured for property damage or personal injury you may cause others while operating your boat is also an important part of being a safe, responsible boater. Your independent Safeco
Why
insurance
doesn't this
agent
guy
can
get
help
any
you
cool
make sure your boat
filters?
insurance won't spring a leak.
I think he's
just when
pretty
you need it
intense.
most. This is Safeco's comprehensive safe boating guide. It's loaded with information you'll find both useful and easy to read, whether you're a seasoned skipper or brand new to the joys of recreational boating. To receive your free copy of the kit, just send a request by postcard or letter to this address. Safeco Insurance Companies, attention, Safe Boating Kit, T-21, Safeco Plaza, Seattle, Washington, 98185.
This video by no means was intended to be the all-encompassing guide to recreational safe boating. Instead, it's meant to cover the safe boating concepts that are common to all recreational boaters. Naturally, there's issues that are particular to the type of boat which you own, and also the body of water which you're operating on.
Be certain to protect your investment with the proper insurance policy, and if, heaven forbid, you should ever be involved in an accident, report it as soon as possible to your local county sheriff's office.
And always be aware of the rules that govern boating in your area, and keep up to date on those rules. Any boater, no matter how experienced, would do well in taking one of the many boating safety courses offered by the Coast Guard Auxiliary, the U.S. Power Squadron, or other local agencies.
Thanks for watching. Have a great time and good boating.
Hey.
Boat Smart with Chip Hanauer was made possible by a grant from the Outboard Marine Corporation, makers of Johnson Outboard Motors, Safeco Insurance, and AirTouch Cellular.
So another one of these tapes I have that was actually like recorded from someone's TV has a like news segment about boat safety towards the end of it as well, and there's a boat that's sinking in it. For some reason it's called Up Yours Again, and the again is in quotation marks. I'm gonna take a minute to rewind this one because I like this tape. Now this next tape, I am kind of worried that my converter's really not gonna like it. It had something rattling around inside. I managed to shake it out this morning, but it's still a bit concerning. Like, what was in there? Like, I didn't see where it fell. Like, it's probably gonna get vacuumed up sooner or later, but, like, I have no idea what it was. Sooner, I should say. This is I'm gonna enlarge this a little bit. This is children's musical theater. My favorite music stories, Peter and the Wolf / The Sorcerer's Apprentice. I don't know if I've heard of Peter and the Wolf before. That was too short for me to read it, so... Oh, yeah. Wait, I think I've seen videos from this company before. Holy shit, 1987? Is this really that old? That is a lovely gradient that's on the screen right now.
As created by Sergei Prokofiev. It is adapted from the commentary that accompanies his delightful music. Peter lived in a house with a wall around it. Outside, in a meadow,
please let me see what's going on right now.
And a pond, and nearby, a dark forest.
Here we go, hopefully. Well.
Just then a duck came waddling to have a swim in the pond.
Well, I like how this flashing is not really causing us to miss too many details. Welcome back, Kerfus. This tape may not be working out.
Why, you can't fly, said the bird. Well, you can't swim, replied the duck. They argued and argued.
Still images.
To show off, the duck dived into the pond.
I thought he said the duck died for a second. I was like, holy fuck. To show off, the duck died.
A cat came crawling through the grass.
That is an interesting looking cat face right there.
I'll grab him. Look out, shouted Peter, and the bird flew up into the tree.
Oh no. The cat's face is just so shocked there.
The tree, the bird will have flown away. Grandfather came out. He was angry because Peter had gone into the meadow.
Grandfather doesn't look too angry here. Also, is Grandfather human?
A wolf might come out of the forest, said Grandfather as he led Peter home.
I mean, the music is nice, and the illustrations are also pretty nice, but it's still just a still image slowly zooming out to a music. Oh my god, how long?
No sooner had Peter gone than a big wolf did come out of the forest.
It is one sprungly wolf. We gonna zoom or do any like slow pans anymore on this image, or is it time for okay, it's time for the next image.
The cat was up the tree. The duck quacked and in her excitement jumped out of the pond. No matter how hard the duck tried to run, the wolf got nearer and nearer. And then he got her, and with one gulp, swallowed her down whole.
Oh, bye, duck. I guess the duck did die to show off.
Now the cat and bird were in the tree, not too close together, with the wolf below. Peter, not at all afraid behind the closed gate, saw all that was going on.
Peter was a bystander.
With a rope, he climbed from the wall to the tree round which the wolf walked. Peter said to the bird, "Fly around the wolf's head and worry him."
Yeah, I always get very worried when a bird is flying around my head. They're really stretching, huh?
Then Peter made a lasso and carefully lowered it. He caught the wolf by the tail and pulled with all his might. The wolf jumped wildly to get loose, but his jumping only tightened the rope.
Well, there's a little more animation than we've gotten so far. That's pretty cool. Oh my, yeah, look at this. I feel so engaged. Yeah, there sure is a very intense, like, tug of war going on right now. The wiggle of drama.
Hunters came out of the woods, trailing the wolf and shooting as they came.
God, the converter really doesn't like these hunters. Jesus. Well, this is giving me an excuse to fast forward. And, you know, maybe we'll get just to the end of the Hunters segment after fast forwarding for like a minute. Okay, we're on to the Sorcerer's Apprentice now. I don't think I liked Peter and the Wolf. That seemed like he was going to end badly for the wolf.
The Sorcerer's Apprentice is hundreds of years old. Paul Duca composed his music to describe a well-known poem by Goethe, which tells part of the story.
Long ago,
oh yeah, this wizard.
There lived a sorcerer,
love this
magician,
wizard.
Famous for his magic powers.
Fortunately, my converter does not love this wizard.
With a secret command, the broom would set to work to prepare its master's supper. On golden dishes, it would serve the delicious food.
a secret word, the sorcerer made it a lifeless broom again.
We're gonna try fast forwarding one more time before we give up on this tape.
Was a young apprentice who wished to become a magician. Beg you, pleaded the apprentice, but on the broom worked.
You ever get so desperate for something that you're begging brooms for things? Happens to the best of us.
Stop, you wretch, or I'll split you in two, screamed the
Whoa,
boy.
dude, that's uncalled for, I think.
A blow of the axe, and the broom was in two pieces.
Well, the broom man is dead, and I think that's where we're gonna end the story, because unfortunately this tape's just kind of unwatchable. So I had only planned, like 3 tapes for tonight because, they were all fairly long. So I only prepared 3, images, but I am gonna do 1 or 2 more, I think. See what's on this one, and if it can be watched.
Okay. You got the map?
Got it.
Do you have sunscreen?
Yep.
Do you have the camera? Is there any film in it?
Check.
Do you have the binoculars?
No.
Oh, where are the binoculars?
Okay. Come on, let's go.
Oh, yeah. Oh, dude. Fuck yeah.
The world was a wild place, and all the animals had lots of space. But if we keep taking it away, there'll be no place where they'll be safe. So this is a story you might like to hear. It's about how animals disappear. Gotta work together, gotta get along before these animals are gone. Side by side, we the guys in the wild. Yeah. Side by side, we the guys in the wild.
We're destroying the planet we live on.
And I'm Allison Barrett. We'll be your guide.
guides to some of the wildest places in America. You'll see how people are trying to save some of the rarest animals on the earth.
And along the way, you're in for a few surprises. Take this African rainforest for an example. It's actually located in San Diego, California.
The San Diego Wild Animal Park is home to some of the rarest animals on Earth.
This park is the zoo of the future. Although 1 million people visit each year, its main purpose is to raise animals.
You're telling me they like transplanted a whole like swath of African rainforests into California? That doesn't sound good for the environment.
Since the time of the dinosaurs, animals have come and gone on our planet.
I love this dinosaur.
Called extinction is a natural part of life. But what's not natural is how fast
I love it slightly less now. Oh my god.
One species, man, is by far the greatest threat to plant and animal life. In the past, uncontrolled hunting of certain animals meant there were not enough left to survive.
Even worse, we've changed their world. We've cut down forests and drained wetlands to provide land for our needs. We've also allowed chemicals and pollution to spread to the edges of the earth.
All this affects plants and animals. They must adjust quickly to our world or disappear.
The dodo, stellar sea cow, the dusky seaside sparrow, they are all gone forever.
Today, thousands of other species of plants and
There's
animals
such
are
a
in danger of
dissonance here.
vanishing. Fortunately, though, it's not all bad news. Conservationists, people who care about wildlife, are taking up the challenge.
Right, and they believe that with our help and a commitment to the future, many animals can be saved. Right, Allison? Allison? Where did she disappear to? Allison?
I can definitely imagine having watched this in elementary school when I was a kid.
The whooping crane, the tallest bird in North America, is named for the incredible sound it makes. Just listen.
Sounds similar to a Mario Kart.
This is the International Crane Foundation in Baraboo, Wisconsin. Rare cranes from all over the world live here.
Hi, I may look odd to you, but if you were a whooping crane chick, this is what you'd see. The chicks raised here see the world as they would in nature. When they grow up, some of them make it to join other cranes in the wild.
Whooping cranes are migrating birds. They once flew across much of the United States. They ranged from northern Canada to central Mexico. They lived as far east as New Jersey and as far west as Utah. In 1865, there were 1,200 to 1,400 whooping cranes. But as people moved west, the birds' numbers quickly declined. People hunted too many of them for food and feathers. They drained the wetlands where cranes lived, and they built fences and power lines that killed migrating birds when they landed to feed.
I'm sure it's better now,
30 hoopers were left in
since
the entire
this tape
world.
was made.
Many of the survivors spent the winter along the Texas coast. In 1937, Aransas
Especially
Wildlife
here in
Refuge was
Florida.
established to protect them. Even so, the Aransas flock seemed doomed. No one knew where they went in spring and summer.
I think
But year after year, the birds
pickleball
came
courts
back.
and golf
For
courses
years,
are going to be
people
really
searched the
good
flock's
for these
northern
animals.
nesting grounds. Then in 1954, they finally found it. The cranes were living in a corner of Wood Buffalo National Park in Canada. Wood Buffalo is where hoopers lay their eggs. Most females lay 2 eggs, but only 1 chick survives. To help the cranes, scientists began removing 1 egg from the nests. While the wild cranes raise 1 chick, the other egg is rushed to a place like the Crane Foundation. Crane City is the foundation's breeding facility. More eggs are laid by the adult hoopers living here.
Just watching the cranes and learning about their behavior.
Ann Burke is a scientist who acts as a matchmaker. She helps each bird find the perfect mate.
All of our equipment. This is our crane video dating service. What we have is we have 4 cameras out in the crane pens, and this is the televisions that we watch them from.
Well, how come we can't go out and look at them from the pens? I'd love to go see them out in the pens. Can we do that?
The problem is that cranes are real sensitive about being around people, and they're afraid a lot of the times, and they don't act natural if we're there. So this way we can spy on them, and we can learn about them, but they don't know that we're watching them.
What kind of behaviors do you look for? What do you look for in a pair?
Well, we look to see if they get along, and some of the things that we can look for is if they like to eat and drink at the same time together, if they like to stand out in their pen and sun themselves, if they like to run around together, look for insects together, and do those kind of things. And that's how I can tell if they like each other.
Once you have a crane pair that are getting along and dating each other, how do you know that the female's going to have an egg?
Well, first of all, they'll do a lot of dancing together, and then they go and they build a nest together. And both the male and female build it, and then the female sits on it, and as she gets ready to lay an egg.
Come to think of it, I can also relate to these cranes in another way. I have
we can watch on the video monitor,
cameras at my room.
We see that she has an egg.
I don't know
we go in
where they
and
go
replace
to,
it with a dummy egg, and we take
or
her egg.
who's watching.
Here's a dummy egg.
Why do you take
I
her
don't
egg?
really care enough to do
so
anything
valuable,
about it.
We want to make sure that nothing happens to them. So we take the egg and we put it in our artificial incubators.
The valuable eggs laid by whooping cranes are placed in an incubator for safekeeping. Each egg is carefully watched by the staff. Inside the egg, a chick is becoming aware of the world outside.
In fact, it's far enough along that if you lean over and give it a sort of mother crane sound like brrr, the egg might actually move for you on the scale there.
Really?
Really? Try it.
Okay.
Oh, shit.
After whooping crane chicks hatch, they're fed by hand for 2 weeks. With so many hungry mouths to feed, the work is non-stop. Today, I'm going to play the part of a whooping crane mama.
Oh, I see. Okay.
For the little ones, I have to put it in the opposite way.
Wait, so this is actually like a thing that these conservationists use? Like they have a whole puppet to feed the chicks?
So I'll end up learning how to do it.
That's amazing.
Oh, wait, don't stop peeping.
He's excited.
Is he?
Yeah, the higher call ends up sounding like a begging call almost.
Really?
And then you hear the little chirping in there every once in a while if he's just a happy camper.
After the chicks are fed, it's time for a little exercise. Marianne and I take the hoopers to an open area. When we flop our arms and stretch our legs, the chicks are eager to follow. When they're grown, these whooping cranes will be kept for breeding purposes. But hidden behind these doors are other hooper chicks. These cranes are being raised for a return to the wild.
Okay, these birds are being reared for release, so they can't see or hear people, so we want to keep our voices in a whisper when we talk. And then you can go ahead and feed the chick like we talked about outside. Through the hole. Through the puppy hole. And we stuff a crane that looks like mom. And we have a speaker in her chest, and that way we can actually play sounds. So not only is the
I was looking away for a second. Oh my, this is beautiful.
and they have a bird that's showing them constantly where to find food.
The special hoopers need exercise too, but it's very important that the wild chicks don't see people.
So, Marianne, what's this area behind us here?
This is the isolation yard. These chicks are going to be released into the wild, so this is where we're going to exercise them.
So what are you going to do when you go in?
We're going to do a lot of walking around and looking for food, insects, and then I'm going to act just like a crane.
You mean the chicks inside are going to believe you're really an adult crane?
Well, probably not an adult crane, but at least I'm not human. And it works pretty good.
Although we can't go in with Marianne, we're going to get a really good idea of what she does by looking through the peepholes in the wall.
A peephole is the perfect way to get a bird's eye view of Marianne at work with the cranes.
Feels like you could apply this to humans and make some kind of like cosmic horror story out of it.
Raising a whooping crane
I
from
don't know
egg
exactly
chick
how
to
yet.
adult is a big job. It takes time, creativity, and patience too. but the results are definitely worth it. Today, the world population of whooping cranes is more than 200 and growing. Some of the cranes raised here will go on to Calgary, Canada, where a third flock will soon be started. Others, conservationists hope to release along the Kissimmee River in Florida. It looks like the story of the whooping crane will be one with a happy ending. It shows what we can do for endangered animals if we try. Throughout the world, cranes are symbols of peace and happiness. For people who want to save endangered species, the whooping crane is also a symbol of hope.
Yeah. Look at that goat.
Hey, Zon, do you believe in unicorns?
Unicorns? I don't think so.
Well, actually,
That's
you're
just
almost
me,
looking at
actually.
one. The legend of the unicorn may have started with the Arabian oryx. You see, when it turns to the side, it looks like it has one long horn.
It's not an ibex.
Oh, you're right,
okay.
it does.
30 years ago, the oryx seemed doomed to extinction.
Orc?
In desperation, the last survivors were rounded up.
Although extinct in the wild, the oryx survived. The herd grew from a dozen animals to more than 200. The oryx is now returning to the desert habitat where it once lived.
In our country, the same approach is being tried with other animals, including the black-footed ferret, the California condor, and one of the most misunderstood creatures on our planet.
Wolf. Just the name makes you shiver. From Little Red Riding Hood to monster movies, wolves always seem to be the bad guys. Wolves once lived in every part of our country, but settlers who came to America brought their fears with them. They put a price on the wolf's head. People moving west tried to get rid of every wolf, and they nearly succeeded.
Oh, dude.
Native Americans saw wolves in a totally different way. My people shared the land with them. We admired the wolf for its hunting ability, its courage, and its close family ties. Today, many people understand the importance of wolves.
Our parks and forests need predators like wolves. When wolves kill old or sick animals in a herd, it gives stronger animals more room to survive. Small animals feast on the leftovers that wolves don't eat. Insects and other tiny creatures get their share of the food, too.
Across our country, people are searching for safe places for the wolves to live. Today, I'm going to one of those places.
One species, the red wolf, may be the key to the future of all wolves. This shy animal lives in small family groups. The red wolf once roamed the southeastern United States. It hunted small animals, including raccoons, squirrels, and rodents. As the forest disappeared, so did the red wolves. When there were fewer than 50 left, the last wolves were rounded up to save them. They were carefully bred, and their number has grown. Now the time has come to return red wolves to the wild. But can they survive? And will people accept an animal that many still fear? St. Vincent is a small island off the coast of Florida. This wildlife preserve is home to many animals, including alligators, wild pigs, bald eagles, and one family of red wolves.
Heard of or been to St. Vincent.
How you doing, Gary? Welcome to St. Vincent.
Thank you, sir.
Well, it looks like we're going to have a
So I
great
need
day
to work on my
introduce you both
Floridian
into the red
skills.
wolves.
All right. Gary Henry works for the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. He's in charge of the effort to save the red wolf.
I don't know how much you know about the red wolf, but it's one of the most critically endangered animals in the world. We started in 1970 with just 14 animals, and that's what we've been trying to build from. We decided to put those animals in captivity because we were having some problems with interbreeding with coyotes. And we've got breeding facilities all across the country. We've got about 25, all the way from the West Coast to the East Coast. We also have 3 island breeding projects, and St. Vincent, the island you've come to visit, is one of those.
So how many wolves do you have in the recovery program?
Well, we only have 2 here on St. Vincent. But we have about 175 altogether in the captive breeding program, 6 of which are on islands, 2 on each island like San Vincent. We've got another 25 animals in the wild for a total of about 200 animals.
What about the 2 wolves here on the island? Are we going to see some pups?
Well, the breeding season is over with now, and they did not have pups this year, and that often happens. Wolves just very naturally only produce about every other year, or about 50% of our wolves breed. But they're still very significant to the program, because what we're trying to do here on the islands is give the wolves the opportunity to get some wild experience.
Well, that sounds great, Gary. Can we go see the wolves now?
We sure can. Mike Phillips and Dr. Nelson's waiting on us. Let's go.
All right, let's go. The red wolves are kept in a pen on the far side of St. Vincent Island.
Advanced graphics.
As Gary and I arrive, Mike Phillips is about to check the condition of the male red wolf. The shy wolf is hiding in a box in his pen. To make sure he won't bite us, Mike first has to attach a snatch pole to his head. This 2-year-old wolf was born on the island. He had roamed free for a time before being captured for safekeeping. Is he more aggressive than the female?
No, but he's going to be harder to work with because he's bigger.
Right.
I mean, they're not aggressive. What they are is scared. They're scared of people, and they respond by defending themselves. So you have to be careful, but in terms of aggression, they're not going to lash out at you. Rather, they're going to try to protect themselves.
At last, Mike is ready. When he pulls the wolf out, we must quickly get him under control.
Okay, he's going to be just a little bit harder to pull out this hole, but we're going to try and do the same thing again.
Guy's hair is also
Get
pretty
him under
good.
control, then we're going to muzzle him. All right? Get in there, buddy.
Watch out. Don't. Watch out, watch out, watch out. Now grab him.
Watch him, watch his head.
Okay?
To keep him from biting, we need to put a muzzle on his mouth.
And then shut the mouth down. Very good.
As soon as the muzzle is on, I slide in to help.
I am taking notes for transitions for my videos.
While I hold the wolf, veterinarian Tim Nelson gives him his shots for rabies and distemper. He also takes blood for further tests.
When you take the blood, what kind of things do you test the blood for?
Well, we check them for the heartworms. That's their major thing. We do sometimes run other kinds of blood tests on them, just general chemistry panels like we would on a dog.
So that's all done through the blood then?
Yeah, we can check out different organ system functions through the blood. But primarily we're worried about heartworms. Heartworms are a worm that lives in the wolves and the dog's heart. And it's passed by mosquito, and it's
Really, I thought the
very
heartworm
serious
lived
disease
in
here, and it has to be controlled for these animals to stay healthy. So we check their blood regularly to be sure that what we're doing here with these red wolves is preventing heartworms. So we make periodic checks to be sure that that's happening. And we'll look you over. Calm down now, haven't you, huh? Yeah.
When Dr. Nelson is finished, we have one last job. Mike uses a special scale to weigh the wolf.
It's poor wolf.
And a half, 40.
No, it's something that has to be done, but like...
How do you keep the wolf from being tamed and getting used to human?
Sure. To ensure that they're intolerant of people after they've been released, and they have to be in order to survive, intolerant of people. We minimize contact with the animals while they're in the pen. Right. So we feed on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, for example. When we handle them, we're very rough with them. We don't want them to think that we're their friend in any way, even though what we're doing is for their benefit.
The guy, wasn't that one guy petting the wolf earlier?
In the least when we're handling. We're very sure with them and certain, so that they have in their mind that people aren't to be trifled with, so that once they're released, they avoid man.
The red wolves will soon be set free on St. Vincent. They will live by their wits on this rugged island. When the 2 red wolves are finally turned loose, every effort is made to protect them. People aren't allowed to watch the release. Now that they are in the wild, we need to know where the wolves are. That's why they wear collars that send out radio signals. Tom Lewis is an expert tracker. He and I are following the wolves.
So Tom, why is it so important to follow the wolves?
Well, there's several reasons, first off, if the wolves with the radio tracking equipment, we can tell that they're moving around and acting in a normal behavior and they're not in any trouble. And the other big reason is that these wolves will eventually be released on the mainland. And after they get some wild experience here on St. Vincent's, we need to know where they are when we have to track them. So that it gives us a location on them and helps us capture them.
Right. So when you guys are tracking the wolves, can you actually tell one wolf from another wolf?
We sure can. Just like on your radio at home that you have different stations for different kinds of music.
Right.
We do the same thing with the wolves. Each one has a unique frequency that its transmitter in the collar sends out. And if I dial in the radio station for one wolf, I can find it. If I change the frequency to another station, I can then find another wolf.
Tom and I trailed the wolves to one corner of the island. At last, it was time to get a fix on their exact location.
Where do you think they're at, Tom?
Well, they should be out this direction. We'll get another signal from here. I'm going to get up high and try to get a good signal.
Does that help you out then, getting up there?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, that cuts out
I wish I had also gotten up high
vegetation
before starting the stream.
Getting anything?
I got a little bit of a weak signal. Yeah, as a matter of fact, I think we've got this wolf right out here. I've got a good, strong signal.
All right.
You want to listen?
Yeah.
All right, let me hop down.
All right, all right.
Put those on. Now, I'm going to sweep through the range, and you'll hear the signal change a little bit.
Okay.
And that's how we determine where the wolf is. Over here, you probably can hear the signal's kind of weak in this vicinity.
Right.
All right, I'm going to swing through. Okay, and over here again, you feel
That's a cool sound.
Weak, yeah. Okay, now watch.
Sounds
when I
very
get right in the center and
remixable.
take our bearing.
Right there.
Okay.
Yeah, it's strong.
Okay, that's how we know where the wolf is.
So he's
when
over
that
there.
signal is real strong. The wolf should be right in that direction right now.
All right. The red wolf is a pioneer. It is one of the first American animals extinct in the wild to make a comeback. If it succeeds, others will follow. Plans are already underway for gray wolves to be released in Yellowstone National Park. And Mexican wolves may soon return to parts of the American Southwest.
For hundreds of years, people and wolves have been competitors. Now we must learn to live side by side. If we want to save our wilderness, we need to find a place for all animals, including wolves.
Yeah, it's a whale.
If you've ever wondered how animals look on an African safari, you're just about to find out.
From this truck, we're going to get a closer view of rare animals such as zebras, giraffes, rhinoceroses, gazelles.
Wait, did you say rhinoceros?
Oh, yeah. Oh, but there is one rule, Zon. We have to stay on the truck.
Oh, I'm going to stay on it. I just hope rhinos know to stay off.
Notice this rhino that was right behind
are
me.
Given as much room to roam as possible. That's one of the reasons why they do so well here.
Every animal needs a certain amount of space if it's going to survive, and that's true from the tiniest creatures to the biggest ones of all.
Water is our planet's most precious resource. It makes all life on Earth possible. The ocean is a giant wildlife preserve. Hiding below its surface are all kinds of animals.
Like him.
Whales are the largest animals that ever lived. There are about 40 different kinds of whales. Scientists divide them into two groups.
Toothed whales use their teeth to capture fish and squid.
These drawings.
Killer whales are the best known toothed whales. You often see them performing at aquarium shows.
Baleen whales use rows of plates instead of teeth for eating. As water flows through them, the plates trap tiny sea creatures and larger fish.
Okay, see you later, Kerfus.
The biggest whales eat a ton of tiny animals every day. Whales are mammals. Although some stay underwater for an hour or longer, they all must come to the surface to breathe.
For hundreds of years, whaling boats crossed the oceans in search of their prey.
Whales were killed for their thick blubber, which was used to make whale
Oh,
oil.
no.
Today, whales are no match for the people who hunt them. Modern whale boats are floating factories that turn whales into oil, meat, and other products.
Overhunting has placed many kinds of
I just
whales
listened
at
to,
risk.
I just
Several
finished listening
species,
to a Star
including the
Trek
humpback whale, are
audiobook.
endangered.
If y'all are familiar with Star Trek 4, the plot of it is literally that they have to travel back in time to the 80s to grab a couple of whales to repopulate the ocean in the future to save the world.
People on board hope for a close look at these ocean giants.
And
Tourists aren't the only ones who
there's
watch
one
whales.
woman
Scientists
from
are
the
watching
80s who
too.
ends up going with
By
them to the
learning more
future,
about
and
them,
so
they hope they can help
the book
save
I was
whales.
listening to
She pops up like
has
Jan Straley
it
is a marine
has a
biologist.
true crime
She lives in Sitka,
podcast
Alaska.
being made in 2024 about that lady's disappearance.
I have a small
And it's
boat
pretty
that I use
amazing.
for my work. I usually go out for several hours at a time. I take my camera, binoculars, a notepad, and warm clothes. Got it. The weather here in southeastern Alaska can change dramatically within minutes, from sunny to very rainy. I don't want to disturb whales when I'm in my boat, so I approach them very carefully. I sometimes pretend as if I'm tiptoeing up behind them. A full-grown humpback is bigger than a school bus. It's an incredible feeling to be surrounded by so many huge animals. There were once about 125,000 humpbacks in the oceans of the world. Today, the population has shrunk to about 12,000. 500 or 600 are found off the southeastern Alaskan coast. Summer is a good season to see humpbacks in Alaska. The whales spend their time here feeding. In late fall, most of the Alaskan humpbacks leave for warmer waters. Most migrate to Hawaii or the west coast of Mexico. They spend the winter there raising their young, and the following spring they return to Alaska. When I get the news that whales are near,
That
I want
music
to
with
know
the
if they
map
are
there
the
was
ones
like
that
so
have been here
calming,
before.
and I like
Fortunately,
it. And
there is a
then
way to tell.
it was interrupted by the
Every humpback has
bongos.
black and white markings on the bottom of its tail. Each whale's tail has its own pattern. I photograph tails and sketch the patterns in my notebook. In this way, I can identify every whale that I see. This is another tough whale because he's turning back and forth, and for me to get in position for a fluke photo. Number one, I don't know where he's going to surface. Number two, I don't know. It's hard to drive and follow him at the same time. But see what he's doing? He's able to follow those fish. How does he do that?
Follow those fish.
Scientists in Hawaii, Mexico, and Japan are also identifying whales. By matching the tail markings, we can tell where a whale has been. This helps us understand how whales travel across the Pacific. I photographed a whale in southeastern Alaska, and it was rephotographed or resighted on the Big Island in Hawaii 39 days later. That means that whale traveled very quickly to Hawaii. In addition to photo identification of humpback whales, I also study behaviors such as feeding behaviors and behaviors associated with female mother and calf pairs. I think sometimes I can tell that whales don't like each other. We saw something happen today where there were 3 whales together. It was a mom and a calf or her baby and another whale, and they were feeding together, and then we saw them. I was sitting in the boat writing notes, and we weren't even anywhere near these whales, so it wasn't as if we caused this disturbance. And all of a sudden, the companion or the whale that isn't the mother started thrashing his tail around, and it was some distance away from the mom and the calf. I mean, maybe the mom had told the companion to get lost. I think my biggest hope for humpbacks and their survival in the North Pacific, and specifically southeastern Alaska, is that they are left alone, that they are left to increase in numbers, and increase in numbers to the point they were before they were exploited by commercial whaling. And to do that, I think we need to really think about how we use the ocean environment.
You ever seen a whale before?
No, have you?
No, they're supposed to get
Bongos
up to 40 and
just-
50 feet in length. Can you believe that?
Huge.
It's like there's a very
Oh, I can't
serious,
wait.
like, moment,
Hi,
and
Allison,
then
I'm
just
Jan.
the bongos
Hi,
come
Jan's
in.
on.
How are you doing
Can't
today?
let
Good. I'm ready to see whales.
Well, let's go see
anything
what we can
get too
find. There aren't any
serious or
guarantees,
relaxing.
but let's go.
All right,
Let's
great.
go for it.
I hope these people are following proper boat safety.
The forest here in southeastern Alaska is very different than what you might find in the northern parts of the state.
It's so beautiful here. It's unbelievable. What kind of trees are these out here?
Those trees are Sitka spruce, western hemlock, some yellow cedar, and the low bushy ones you see right along the shoreline are alder.
Well, how come there's so much moss on the trees?
There's a lot of moss because it's technically a rainforest. We get almost 100 inches of rain a year. And when you walk through the forest, it is very dense and very thick, and there's a thick layer of moss right on the forest floor.
It's no accident that the humpbacks spend the summer here. The water off the Alaskan coast is filled with fish. This food source attracts all kinds of wildlife. On our trip, we see lots of animals, including sea lions, sea otters, eagles, puffins, and porpoises.
A full-grown humpback is almost the size of this boat. You'd think it would be pretty tough to miss. There's an awful lot of water out there.
When a whale comes to the surface, it must exhale before it breathes in. That blast of warm air creates a foggy mist that will help us find the humpbacks.
We try to give a whale its own personal space.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty intrusive to try to touch him. So I try to keep my distance at least 40 or 50 feet.
There he
away
is.
from them.
It's humongous.
So you can't tell how big it is because I only see the back and then the tail, but I want to see the front. I only see the hump.
It is hard.
Oh, there he's
Oh, that's cool. We're closer now. Whoa, look, there he goes.
Look at it. Whoa, there he goes. That was his lunge?
That was his dive.
His dive.
He's diving. When they lunge feed, I'll show you what it looks like. They either do it vertically, where they're...
Is that their mouth?
Right, this is their mouth. And so they're coming out under the surface of the water, and they come up vertically, and they'll open their mouth like a flower, and then they'll close it, and they'll go back down. Sometimes they do it horizontally, and so they're coming out of the water, and they'll open their mouth, and sometimes they turn on
What, a
their
lot of
side.
fish swim in there?
Right, a lot of fish swimming in, and then they let it out, and they sieve it through their baleen, and they swallow it.
Seeing humpbacks is pretty incredible, but wait until you hear them. Humpbacks are famous for the sound they make. Their songs are strange and beautiful. They can last a few minutes long or as long as an hour. Jan is lowering a hydrophone down in the water. Scientists use these special microphones to listen to whales.
If you pick up the
Ready to
headphones
hear
there's
these
on,
guys
you'll be able to
sing.
hear humpback whales.
Wow, I can hear them pretty clearly. How close are they?
They're pretty close to the boat.
It kind of sounds like jumble sounds. You know what they're saying, Jan?
No, we don't know what they're saying. We think that they're using these sounds to communicate with each other.
Didn't know they made, like, short sounds like that at the beginning.
Once you see a whale up close, it's a sight you'll never forget.
I guess that's why people are so fascinated by whales.
There's something about whales that captures our imagination. Maybe it's their incredible size, or their mysterious ocean lives, or the fact that they're mammals like us.
Hopefully, with our help, our fellow mammals will survive.
When you see a really cute and adorable animal, it's easy to understand
What is
why you
that
want to
bird?
help it survive. But the same thing is true for every plant and animal on our planet.
And as our population grows, the many wild places our animals need will continue to disappear. It may seem hopeless, but it's not. There are things that you can do to help.
First, find out what endangered plants and animals live near you. Contact your local office of the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service for help.
Pick one species and learn about it. Visit your local library, zoo, and nature center. Find out what you can do to help.
And finally, spread the word. Get other people who care about endangered species involved. Help raise money to save plants and animals.
And write to your elected officials. Tell them why you care about endangered animals. It won't be easy, but if we work together, we can make a difference. Right, Allison? Allison? Here we go again.
Well, Allison's
Wait
done
up,
with this.
Allison.
Oh, hey, that's it.
Gotta understand that they all need help, cause these poor creatures can't speak for themselves. Save the trees, leave wetlands alone. Don't pollute the waters, cause that's their home. Like you and me, they're unique and rare, but we gotta show them that we really care. So check it out, see what you can do. Visit your library, go to your zoo. Save the animals, save the plants, cause only you can give them that chance. They gotta live here too. Save the animals. You know what I'm talking about?
It is really hard to make Little Dag dance right now.
Help the animals. Save the animals. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah.
Keeps wanting to snap to something, some kind of grid.
Save the animals.
Mark Ferrari. That's a powerful name. I mean, I guess Ferrari is just a name, but like...
Help the animals. Save the animals.
Save the animals.
Help the animals.
Hope this nice, relaxing music doesn't get cut off by bongos. Whoa. Okay, well that was a pretty good tape. I think that's probably it, unless I can find one that I know is like really short. I only have it in me for like a really short one right now. I think we'll do one more. I've seen it before. It's not anything very exciting, but it's mildly funny, to me at least. One about golf is gonna be really appropriate to follow the environmental conservation one with.
Hi, I'm Jim Sorensen, founder and president of Momentum Golf. What I'd like to do in this video is walk you through the benefits of using the Momentous putter and how it'll help eliminate some of the common faults that most golfers have in their putting. What I'd like to do is demonstrate the 3 common faults that most golfers struggle with in their putting and how the Momentous putter will help eliminate those and help you develop a smoother and more repetitive putting stroke. The first fault that I see, golfers may have a good grip and a good stance with the ball and the putter here, but what they do is they take it back and the putter wanders and flutters, and it comes back and through, and it's real inconsistent. It doesn't allow you to hit the ball squarely in the center of the face. And the second fault that I see commonly is that golfer takes a putter outside. You get it started outside, and then they cut
Never want
across
to take a
it,
putter outside.
slice
Rookie.
it. They don't hit a very solid
Rookie
punch
mistake.
down your target line. And the third fault that a lot of golfers go through is they struggle with, they take it back, and then they're too rigid in their wrists and their hands and their arms, and they kind of decelerate into it, and they don't get it to the hole. So I'm going to show you how the Momentous putter will eliminate those 3 strokes and those common faults and help you develop a repetitive and smoother putting stroke. Now let's talk about how the Momentous putter is going to help eliminate those 3 common faults. The Momentous putter is evenly weighted like the Momentous swing trainer. And as you make practice strokes with the Momentous putter, the evenly weighted shaft swings back and through on a nice even path. And so it helps eliminate that putter flutter, the putter wandering all over the place. The weight kind of settles you into a nice stroke. You make repetitions back and forth. Just keep the Momentous putter swinging back and forth, and it helps ingrain that feel, eliminating that common fault of putter flutter. And what it does also for eliminating taking the putter outside, as you gradually swing it back and through, it swings like a clock and a pendulum. And it's so heavy, there's no way to shove it outside, but you make nice little practice strokes where the putter swings back and through on the nice even path. And the third reason the Momentous putter is great for eliminating that common fault of decelerating or slowing the putter down, well, it's pure physics. As you swing the Momentous putter back and through, the weight of it forces the club to swing through and accelerate. You can't decelerate something that's moving. It's like a train moving down a track. It has mass and speed, and it has momentum, so it keeps moving. It helps accelerate the putter through the stroke. A great way to use the Momentous putter is to make little practice strokes with the Momentous putter on the putting green, maybe 10 or 15 strokes, then pick up your own putter and hit 3 or 4 balls, and then switch back to the Momentous putter, make 10 or 15 little strokes with it, and hit some more putts.
Then you're going to want to take the putter.
To ingrain a feel for the proper putting motion. And then you're able to take that out to the course and have a smoother stroke and roll the ball.
You want to make sure you're doing this with your putter.
What I'd like to do now is demonstrate just a brief motion in using the Momentous putter and some recommendations.
Don't forget to make sure you're using your putter.
Hold the Momentous putter about 1/8 of an inch off the ground, and then just swing it back with your arms and shoulders. Don't use any wrists at this point, but all you're doing is swinging it back with your arms and shoulders. And from here, this may sound a little unorthodox, but trust me on this. So you swing it back to here, and from here what you want to do is take your right arm and straighten it as you release the putter.
Orthodox, it sounds completely insane, man. I've never heard of somebody straightening their right arm.
Your wrist release, and it released the putter right down the target line. The ball rose straight at the cup. So you just go back with your shoulders and arms, no hands, and then just straighten your right arm and release the putter down the target
Straighten
line.
your right arm
Again,
with your putter. Then you're going to take your putter.
And release it right down your target line. I'm going to demonstrate this with a standard putter so you can see how it works and how it rolls the ball right at the hole. Left center. see how the momentous putter will help eliminate those common faults of taking the putter back outside, decelerating the putter through the stroke, and that common fault of putter flutter throughout the whole stroke. The weight of the momentous putter smooths out your putting stroke like a pendulum, helping you build a repetitive stroke that you can take to the course and have fewer putts per round. The momentous putter is designed to give a golfer a feel for making a pendulum stroke time after time after time. The weighted shaft of the momentous putter swings back and through along a perfect path like a pendulum of a grandfather clock. The weighting grains a feel for the proper stroke, so the same pendulum stroke is easily duplicated with a standard putter. Hold the momentous putter off the ground 1/4 of an inch and start making practice strokes back and through in a continuous motion. Make 15 to 20 practice strokes, then swing your own putter to feel the same pendulum stroke. It's like magic for developing a soft touch and a pure stroke. Alternate swinging the momentous putter on the putting green with hitting putts with your own putter to maximize your practice session on the putting green.
That's the whole tape. I think it was a pretty good stream. I now am about to sign up for law school. I know how to wear scarves. I know how to drive a boat safely, and I know that golf courses are bad for the environment, but I'm still going to go to one with my momentous putter because I can't have any putter flutter. We can go ahead and exit the video void. Stream is not starting soon. Hope y'all enjoyed, and have a good night.